Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. As you can see, or soon hear, William is finally here! And so we're doing a video about the craziness of William's flight. From day one, nothing has been super smooth for us. And it's been really rocky. It's been a long journey. Some things have been really hard, and we are planning on opening up and talking about all the stuff, all the nitty gritty, because we want things. It's not because we're trying to air out dirt or something, but I feel like a lot of online relationships always share how amazing some of their adventures are, which we've had amazing adventures, but we've also dealt with some hard stuff, and that's life.
Yeah.
So anyways, William, why don't you start off with telling us how your day began, that you were flying here. And I'm going to jump in time to time, because you have to remember, his morning that he was going to fly was my night before. So I think you were flying on a Wednesday, right? So he was flying on a Wednesday morning. So his Wednesday morning in the Philippines would have been my Tuesday night.
So guys, if you see, I am here now to my wife. First of all, I want to thank Dad, because today we will reunite again with my wife here, and it is my first time to go here in Canada. So this is how the day began. This is the first time I was going to travel to another country, and I feel excited, emotional, scared, and a little bit stressed. Excited because we will be reunite again with my wife. Emotional because it has been almost 2 years since I've been with my wife. Scared because this is my first time flying in the airplane. Um, a little bit stressed because I don't know what to expect at the airport, and in a new country. So I started my day with video chatting with my wife.
So one thing that we really tried to make sure, even if things were really hard, things were really tough, we wanted to make sure that we were keeping in constant communication. And for me, it was important that we video chatted, because with pictures, I can't see his facial expression. So I can't see his face. So I can't tell if he's stressed or what he's going through. And video chatting is a very good way for me as a blind wife to be able to hear if my husband, if he's having more of an emotional day, or there's anxiety going on. And that just helps me to be a little bit more patient and to just be there emotionally if he needed me. So he called me, and like I said, his morning was my night, and it was a Tuesday night, so I had just finished teaching piano for that night. And for me, everyone kept saying, especially a week or 2 weeks before the date that he was flying, oh, aren't you excited? This just must be so amazing for you. And for me, even on Tuesday night, it still hadn't felt real yet. The plane ticket had been booked 2 weeks before. But like I said, I had gone through a lot emotionally over those 2 years. And like I said, we will be opening up and sharing some of the behind the scenes of stuff that had been going on. Not because we're going to put anything down or attack anyone or anything like that. We're not going to do that. We're just sharing because there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and it was really hard. And yeah, there was just a lot of stress. And I'm going to tear up. So like I said, because of all that stuff that had been going on, I felt like even right up to driving to pick him up, I just kept having the feeling like there was going to be a hiccup along the way. So for me, that Tuesday night just felt like another day or night that had a little bit of extra stress.
So yeah, I video chat with my wife, and I feel bad because I bothered her in the middle of the night. So
No, not when you first video chatted me. You're jumping ahead in the story.
Yeah.
When you first video chatted me, it was still our night. I just finished teaching for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I finished video chatting with my wife. I had no packing to do. I double checked my paperwork and my requirements, and I had to go somewhere with my ride. When I got to my location, some people were telling me all flights were canceled because of the new variant of COVID. So immediately I panicked and I decided to call my wife and see if she knew anything about the flight.
Yeah. So yeah, people were telling you, you know, like, and I think I had just heard 2 or 3 days before about the new variant that had come out. And yeah, there were flights that were being shut down, but at that point, I hadn't heard anything about flights being shut down. So when he called, because I was having a lot of stress, one of the ways I deal with stress is I like to soak in like a super hot bath with some Epsom salts and some essential oils. Like I am like a hippie bath person. And so I was, I was trying to de-stress and, in the middle of my nice, calm, relaxing bath, trying to relax, I get this video chat and he's absolutely panicked. Like he's just like, he goes, "Sweetheart, I think the flights are canceled." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I think the flights are canceled." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." I'm like, "They can't be canceled. We've been waiting too long. We can't be canceled." Right away, like, I realized later it's a trauma response. Like right away, I start to get upset and crying, and it's okay. It's okay. So I go to my laptop because I'm faster with my blind tech on my laptop than I am with my phone. And I go on my laptop, and we had a wonderful girl helping us, Sophia. She was working as a travel agent, so I contacted her and I said, people are telling my husband over there that the flights are canceled. I said, "Do you know anything about this?" And then I also went on to the Toronto Pearson flight listing information. Yeah. And as I was listening through the flights, there were flights from other countries that were canceled, but none of the flights from the Philippines were canceled.
So thanks to my wife, I was able to breathe and relax at least a little bit. I went back home, got my things, and headed to the airport, thinking this is great. There are no problems. But of course, when I got to the airport, the real stress and real problems began.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump in here real quick, just to tell you about there were traveling restrictions and mandates and all of this crazy stuff that you had to follow, and I'm just gonna call them out. And we had to do all this stuff to get William here, and so some of those things were he had to have his vaccinations. He had to download this thing called Trace app, ArriveCan. He had to have a negative COVID test. Some of these things, like I'm not going to go into too much of a detail here, but personally, I was kind of really disappointed in some of the things that airlines were enforcing. I totally understand and totally, I think that's great. You're trying to be proactive and doing a COVID test. That's great. I can understand that. But some of these other apps is completely discriminatory in nature. Really, they would be illegal for any other app or company to use because it is tracking and taking information without consent. And so that's something that just really, really bothered me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you need to realize that there was all these things that you had to have. It was more than just showing up at the airport with your booking information and your passport. And that's kind of where William's problems began at the airport.
Yeah. So this is what happened in the airport. I arrived to the airport there's a lot of people waiting outside, and I get to the door. So when I get inside, there are huge what call this huge line. Airport staff and security were asking for everyone's requirements and extra paperworks. I was nervous in that time. I was nervous about flying because I get a motion sickness. It's my first time to ride in the plane.
Mhm.
So, but I felt okay because I had checked all my paperworks and knew that I had everything I needed.
Mhm.
So it's my turn to show my paperworks, but there's a problem. Arrivecan apps crashes and will not open in my phone. So I feel like racing in the time. I don't know what I'm going to do. So the staff never received my app registration. They're telling me I cannot board the plane without the app. So I'm trying everything I know to get this app to work. Uh, on the next 30 minutes, I tried to reload the app and re-register, but nothing is working. My plane will be leaving soon, and I don't know what to do anymore. So I call my wife to ask if she can help me. So because our time is different, so it is my I think 2:30 in the afternoon, and my wife is it's like
It was
uh,
later than your 2:30. It would have been more like
because
3:30.
because in the Philippines we are 13 hours ahead here in Canada, so
Well, it's 13 hours when we have time change.
mhm.
So when the time change goes back in the spring, it's actually 12 hours. But in the fall and winter, it's 13 hours apart.
Okay.
So I get this video chat from him,
Mhm.
and he is so upset. I cannot understand him. Um, I'm at a point now. You probably can talk to me in Tagalog, and I'll understand what you're saying.
because
I can't speak it.
I feel nervous. I am mumbling. I speak mumbling, so
Yeah, I don't know. Like he was just
I am panicked.
he was so upset. Like I couldn't get him to calm down and just listen. So I have no idea what's going on. Like he said, like with the time changes, like my 2:30 in the morning,
Mhm.
and I'm in the middle of a sleep. So now I'm trying to wake up, try and get alert, and focus on what he's
I'm
like
sorry.
what is going on.
So
So finally I understand that this stupid app that the Canadian government requires them to have has crashed, probably because so many people are trying to access it right before the flight. Anyways, because anyone on that side of the hemisphere that was flying with other international airports that would have been boarding around the same time, like lots
yeah.
of people would have been trying to access that. So, anyways, it crashed. He couldn't even open it. And when he had originally opened it and filled out the information, it never registered to the airport
Mhm.
like it was supposed to. So, anyways, the only answer my
Mhm.
hacker brain could come up with
Yeah.
was, because everything that they were requiring on that stupid app, he had in black and white paperwork. So, like, there
Mhm.
was no answer. If he did not get this, he would not be able to board the flight. We would not be able to get our money. We've fought with Philippine Airlines before about that. Back when my
Mhm.
flight was canceled and they would not return my second half. That's a lot of money. So the only answer my hacker brain could come up with is I was going to download the app. I was
Mhm.
going to change the setting on my phone to locate that I was
Mhm.
in the Philippines,
Yeah.
and I acted like I was him, and I filled out the app information like
Mhm.
that was the only thing I could do. The problem, the app was not fully accessible. So
Mhm.
the app was not fully accessible. So while I'm trying to download this app, I had to video chat. Well, it was downloaded, but I opened it and I realized I can't access this app as a blind individual. It wasn't working. It wasn't working with the technology on my phone. So
Mhm.
I had to video chat another friend in the middle of the night that I knew they're from the US, and I knew that they would be able to help me with this. I'm so thankful for that. So I had to video chat her on my laptop,
Mhm.
and I would have to hold my phone up to my laptop so she could see it, and she could see what I was trying to fill out. She could see what the questions were and everything like that. And my husband, ever so helpful, while I'm doing all of this, he's like panic calling me and telling me, I'm running out of time, I'm running out of time. And it's like, that's not helping at all.
Sorry.
That's okay. So finally, I get it all downloaded, I get it
Yeah.
filled out, it registers, it goes through on their end. They say, okay, we got it, he can go through.
So I feel bad because I know that it is evening here and my wife
So
in
technically, it
Canada.
was
Yeah.
morning at that time.
So I have no option to. So I call her. So I maybe she could not understand my English because I am mumbling
No.
and I am panic when the time, and my stupid phone is slow battery and I need to find a charging station to charge my phone. And after that,
Well, even your Tagalog, it was so fast because you were speaking so fast. Even your Tagalog, because normally I could understand his Tagalog, but he was speaking so fast, I couldn't
and
understand
after
him.
that, some of us stopped there. Goes on me and asking me, sir, why okay, you want me to help you? And said no. I calling my wife
Mhm.
to help me.
Now, some
And
of you might criticize, like, why wouldn't he just get the staff there to help? You have to realize, I lived in the Philippines for 6 months. Even those who you expect to be honest and forthright, um, aren't. So even though they might work for security, even though they might have a high position level job, it's not like here. People will risk their job if they think they can make easy money on somebody or take your information or anything like that. So that's the reason he said no to the staff, is because really, there's a lot of times you just
so because my phone, the phone that I use, it is old, so I couldn't register the right gun. So the staff they're holding me and sir, you need to register that app so you cannot go into the plane. And I felt nervous with that. And finally, my paperwork goes through. Thank you for my wife helping me, and I can board my plane. And after that, there's a lot of security to go through. I board the plane and every seat is filled. I find my seat and I was between two people. So because it is my first time ride in the airplane, my stomach was sick and the whole time.
mm,
Yeah, I couldn't enjoy the food there. The food there is really good, but I couldn't enjoy it of my stomach. So yeah, the flight is 15 hours.
mhm.
I couldn't eat and I couldn't not sleep. I couldn't sleep. Finally, my plane lands. I need to line up to get my luggage and then border security custom went through my paperworks, my Canadian residence paperwork, and asked me some a lot of questions, something like that. Yeah. Finally, I leave the airport to find my wife outside. I was excited.
Yeah. Was it cold when you came outside?
Yeah, the weather is cold. It is I think below zero.
I think yeah, when we picked you up, I think it was below
So
zero.
because in the airport there's a heater there, the cold is not really bothering me.
Well, where pickup was, it was actually in a very sheltered part. So he wasn't having to deal with a lot of like super bad wind or yeah, like you said, it was really sheltered, so it wasn't like freezing, but it was cold, and he only had, I think, like a heavy sweater.
Yeah,
No, someone had given you an old jacket, I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
on
someone
that.
had
Yeah,
given him an old jacket. So he did have that on, but it wasn't warm enough for our winter.
I have underclothes and then jacket
Hmm.
and pants.
Yeah.
So
So when we picked him up from the airport, I had been up
mhm.
since like 2:30 in the
2:30.
morning because of his call. So after he called me, I could not fall asleep after that because all I could think of was, because like I said, to me it just didn't make sense. because the information they wanted off that app, he had in black and white government issued paper, and I couldn't fall asleep after that video chat because like that whole thing was senseless and I didn't know if there was going to be some other problem along the way. So once he boarded the plane, he didn't have Wi-Fi, so I couldn't hear from him for the next like 15 hours. But yeah, so for me it was a Wednesday. I had my schedule, that I had to do that day. I had a piano lesson that I needed to teach, and after I taught, I had to be ready to go with my mom and my youngest brother to go pick William up. Obviously, I can't drive. For some reason, they don't let blind people have a driver's license in Canada. So my family are country people. So anytime we have to drive in a metropolitan area, it is really stressful for my family. So my brother was letting us use his truck. There's a whole story about that too, because his truck had been in an accident and had to go to the place the insurance had wanted for repairs. It had to go that night when we were picking William up. So we had to do all of that. So my mom was driving my brother's truck, and my brother was coming because we needed somebody who could go to the door to grab William, or because we didn't know for sure if he was going to be waiting outside. We didn't know. So my brother was coming to help with that, and my mom was driving. When we got to the airport, we actually ended up having to wait almost 2 hours after his flight had landed. So, like, that's not stressful because I'm outside hoping everything is okay, hoping the paperwork is okay. I have no idea what's going on the inside. If you've ever been to Toronto Pearson to pick people up, it's an arm and a leg to park, and I wasn't going to pay to park. So we had to try and figure out a way to keep going through the terminal for pickup. So yeah, it was just crazy. Finally, my brother was able to go to the door and get William, and so he got William and his luggage, and I waited outside of the truck because I really wanted to give him a hug. I think he was wearing a mask. I don't think I was, because I wasn't around.
Yeah.
I wasn't around anybody. Like, I was in the truck and no one was standing outside the truck, so I was fine. But yeah, he had to wear a mask in the airport. But as soon as he came up, I gave him a hug. We did try to get footage. It just didn't work. Like, maybe if we had had money for the parking, and we had parking and we had a camera set up, like, maybe we could have made it work, but there was no way we were able to make it work in all that craziness. But I will have another video where I will tell you guys my blind perspective and emotions dealing with all this. Right, we were just kind of get through the video of his flight and get a video out there for you guys. You guys have been waiting so patiently, and I appreciate you guys so much. When I was on Facebook, we've just been taking advantage of the time together this month. I haven't been super active on any of my social media, and I apologize for that. But one thing that COVID has really struck home for us, I think everyone has different lessons they've been learning during this time, but something that really struck home for us was it is so important to keep those relationships.
Yep.
And to focus on spending time together. And, I think after going through what we've gone through, I really do think we would risk anything to make sure we spend time with relatives and family. There's been quite a bit of loss in these last 2 years. I've lost some friends, and there's been things that just don't make sense. So we really wanted to make sure we had this month together, and that was something we talked about before he came here. My dad's work has graciously offered him a position, and he probably could have worked right away, but we wanted that we had 1 month together before he started working, and that our relationship needed that. Like, yeah, we need the income, but I would say, you know, in the priorities of life, sometimes relationships really need to come first.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And so I'm very thankful for everyone's patience. We did try to get this video out as soon as we did. It's been good. William's very much a script person, so he likes everything. He likes everything to be scripted. I make him nervous. I don't go by script at all. We work on a script together, and then my parts are just kind of like, you know, we get to my part and I just say whatever I want. But he likes things to be scripted, and so we were working on this together. And I think a really good thing about that was, because when we were talking about it, and I did mention, you know, like, you know, even the part where you were at the airport and we were writing down, you know, like, he was panic calling me. You were panic calling me and being like, I'm running out of time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was saying, like, that's no help. He realized when we were doing the script, he realized, wow, that really wasn't helpful. And he realized how much stress that put me through. And I really think that was good. I think that was good for us to realize different things, you know. So,
yeah, to work on. Yeah, I need to work on that.
Not necessarily to work on, just having an awareness, an emotional awareness, I think is amazing. Being aware of each other's stress. And I've said to him before, I can't see your face. So if you're dealing with something, he needs to just come out and say, hey, look, I'm really stressed right now. So yeah, there's been a lot of learning, and I think writing the script was really good. It took us a while to write the script.
Yeah,
When did we first start working on the script? I think we first...
last week?
No, it was longer than last week. I think it was like December 4th. We first started... Yeah, it was like December 4th. And today is January 1. We gotta get better at script writing. So I don't script write. I just turn the camera on and you get the raw me. That might not be a good thing. That could be why my YouTube channel is not bigger. Anyways, like I said, anytime we do a couples video like this, I do want to share my blind perspective, and I will be sharing my blind perspective in an upcoming video about some of the emotions I had to deal with as a blind person. And the reason I'm sharing, if you're a sighted person and you're going to judge me for that, don't watch this video. Not for you anyways. The reason I do that is because there are other blind people who are going through things, and I think it's good to realize, hey, you know what? This is an emotion that comes up, and it's good to have some self-reflection about where that emotion came from and how to work forward through it, and that's why I'm sharing that. So there will be that video coming up, but my channel is mainly about blindness, and we will be talking about different things about interabled relationship. You know, he's not disabled, he's not blind. I have health issues and I'm blind, and so sometimes that puts extra pressure and strain on our marriage. Yeah, and I think it's good for us to talk about those things.
So if you guys are new in this video, you don't forget to click the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe and like.
That wasn't scripted! Good job! Good job! Anything else you want to say?
So, what was this is coming soon? What is your new video coming soon? Next video?
The next one is going to be my blind perspective on what I was dealing with the emotions, and because
you invited me to the video?
No,
Okay.
no,
It's personal.
You can watch it when it goes up, hopefully. Yeah, it's not personal, but it's what I was dealing with as a blind person during all this flight stuff. Because I dealt with emotions like anger and frustration and also sorrow. You know, there is a sorrow that hits you when you are waiting at an airport for someone you haven't been with for 2 years. And you wish you could look out the window and see when they're coming instead of having to hear someone else say, oh, there he is. You know, that's hard. And I've never seen what William has looked like with my physical eyes. I felt his face with my fingers, I think I have a good mental picture. I've never seen him with my eyes. So I'm thankful for that because I feel like it would have been a little bit harder, but it's still hard. And like I said, I think it's important to talk about those things because those are real emotions. And I don't think you outgrow certain things. I think you have to keep coping with losing something you once had. So that's what that video is going to be about.
Yep.
It's not all going to be doom, gloom, and sadness. Like I said, there are other aspects of that video, and I'm going to talk about how I dealt with that, how I'm moving forward with that, how I'm focusing on building a skill from dealing with those emotions. So anyways, you're going to want to stay tuned, and hopefully we're hoping things kind of calm down so we can actually go and do things as a couple. We're waiting for things to open up because there's lots of exciting things he's never experienced before, and we will have a video coming up where he has touched snow for the first time. So we have that video that's
Yep.
going to be coming out. We have a few other videos that are going to be coming out. So make sure you subscribe, like, and even share it. You never know. It might be an encouragement to somebody. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, guys.